Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack compelling ideas and distill powerful insights just for you. Today, we're stepping into something, well, deeply personal, but also really universal.
Yeah, what's that?
It's the journey of discovering and, embracing your authentic self.
Ah, okay. And reclaiming your inner power.
Exactly. Reclaiming that personal power. Our material for this deep dive comes from excerpts of a really thought-provoking YouTube video transcript.
Which one?
It's called This Video Found You for a Reason. Watch this. From the channel Solace Fox.
Got it. Solace Fox. So our mission today really is to pull out the most, let's say, potent wisdom from this source.
Right.
We'll look at those subtle ways we might be kind of living for external validation without even realizing it. And then hopefully illuminate that huge shift, that transformation that happens when we decide to follow an internally driven path instead.
Tapping into that core strength.
Precisely. That unshakable core.
Absolutely. So as we begin, maybe just take a second and ask yourself this. Have you ever felt, maybe even just faintly, like you're walking through life following a script someone else wrote, quietly waiting, for permission to actually be yourself?
That's a powerful question to start with.
It really sets the stage, doesn't it? Because it's a key observation in our source material.
This idea of waiting.
Yeah, how so many people spend their entire lives just waiting for permission.
Permission for what specifically?
Well, permission to change, permission to speak their mind, or just permission to exist without constantly apologizing for taking up space.
Wow. This source paints it, like you said, quite vividly.
It does, like being actors in a play they never auditioned for.
Just going through the motions.
Hoping to somehow earn happiness or acceptance by pleasing everyone else.
And, the source makes a pretty stark claim about that whole game.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It says that this game, this waiting for external validation, it's essentially rigged from the start.
Rigged? How so?
Well, the idea is the more you play by rules that weren't actually designed for your benefit,
right,
for your true self,
the further you drift away.
Exactly. You drift from who you actually are. And it gives some really concrete examples.
Like what?
Like, biting your tongue when you really feel you should speak out.
I think we can all relate to that sometimes.
Or saying yes when every fiber of your being, your soul, is screaming no.
Right. Or choosing what feels comfortable over what feels true.
Precisely. And the point it makes is crucial. This isn't just about avoiding conflict on the surface.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's about actively avoiding yourself.
Wow. Okay. So connecting this to you, the listener.
Yeah.
What does this really mean in practice?
Yeah. How does it show up?
Maybe reflect for a moment. When was the last time you made a decision based purely on what you wanted?
Not what others expected or what you thought they expected?
Exactly. Or when did you last speak your truth without, calculating the potential social fallout first?
Or chose the path that just felt right deep down instead of the one that seemed, safer.
That hesitation you might feel right now, that little silence in your head.
Yeah.
The source suggests that's recognition.
Recognition of what?
Of potentially living someone else's version of your life and realizing that, it can feel terrifying at first.
But also liberating.
Immensely liberating. Yeah, it's the first step.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, the source draws this really interesting distinction.
Between different kinds of people.
Yeah, essentially. On one hand, you have people who seem to just drift through life, reacting to everything that happens to them.
Like they're being tossed around by the waves.
Exactly. But then you see others who seem, the source calls them untouchable, unshakable, immune to the chaos.
Right, those people who seem so centered no matter what's going on around them.
And the source is clear. This difference isn't luck. It's not some magic power they were born with.
So what is it then?
It's because they simply stopped trying to control things that were never theirs to control in the first place.
Okay, now that is where it gets really interesting for me.
How so?
Because think about how much energy we expend trying to manage things we actually have no control over.
Like what, for example?
Like other people's opinions of us, or their emotions, their reactions.
We turn our whole lives into a kind of performance, don't we?
Totally. Constantly monitoring ourselves, worrying how we're being perceived. It's exhausting.
It really is.
But then the source poses this incredibly freeing question.
Which is?
What if the very things we've been taught to fear most, like disapproval, rejection, maybe even standing alone sometimes?
Yeah. What if?
What if those are actually the door to your freedom?
Wow. That reframes everything.
Doesn't it? And it's careful to say this isn't about becoming selfish or uncaring.
Right. It's not about isolating yourself completely.
No, it's about reclaiming your right to exist as you are.
As you are, not as others need you to be.
Precisely.
You know, the source also tackles some common ways we get confused about this stuff.
Like mixing things up.
Exactly. Like Confusing being liked with being truly respected. They're not the same thing.
That's a big one. Or thinking that just accommodating everyone is the same as being kind.
Right. And the source draws a sharp line there. It says, accommodation without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-abandonment.
Self-abandonment. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. It's when you consistently say yes to things that drain you or go against your values just to keep someone else happy or avoid conflict.
So you end up sacrificing your own needs, your own peace.
Exactly. You abandon yourself in the process. Another one is confusing being quiet with being wise.
Oh, interesting. How does it distinguish that?
It points out that silence in the face of injustice isn't wisdom, it's complicity.
That's challenging.
It is. And maybe the most pointed. Being liked by everyone usually means you've deluded yourself so much that there's nothing authentic left to like.
Ooh. Deluded yourself.
Yeah. So these people who seem immune to the chaos, they've learned some hard truths.
Such as?
That their peace of mind is not negotiable.
Non-negotiable. I like that.
That their energy is not a renewable resource.
Yeah.
You have to protect it.
Right. You can't just keep giving it away endlessly.
And crucially, that saying no to others often means saying yes to themselves.
Saying yes to your own well-being, your own priorities.
Exactly. And this isn't something you figure out once. The source calls it a practice, a daily choice.
Okay, let's make this really practical for you listening. Think about the last time someone maybe tried to provoke.
Push your buttons.
Yeah, tried to get under your skin. Did you take the bait?
Meaning, did you get hooked? Did you replay it in your head for hours?
Right, letting their stuff just live rent-free in your mind. Or did you manage something else?
Like what?
Did you manage to maybe recognize it for what it likely was, someone else's issue being projected on?
Separating their stuff from your stuff?
Exactly. And could you let it pass through you, like the source says, like wind through an open window?
That takes practice, but it's powerful.
It really is, because the takeaway here is profound. Your real power. It isn't in controlling how other people act.
Which is impossible anyway.
Right. It's in mastering how you respond to their behavior.
Okay, the respond. That's the key.
That's the locus of control. It's not about making everyone like you. It's about being so grounded, so solid in who you are.
That their approval or disapproval just becomes irrelevant.
It becomes irrelevant. It doesn't dictate your state of being. And it's amazing how easily we give that power away, isn't it?
All the time. Often without realizing it.
Letting our mood swing based on a comment from a stranger online or a coworker's tone.
Or traffic. Or even just the way an email is phrased.
Totally. We let external things dictate our internal state.
So a really key insight from the source is this idea of developing inner stability.
Inner stability. What does that mean exactly? Is it about not feeling things?
No, not at all. It's actually the opposite in a way. It's about cultivating the capacity to feel everything, the joy, the pain, the frustration.
Feel it all.
But without being controlled by any of it.
Okay. So not being swept away by the emotion.
Precisely. Learning to observe your emotions without getting hijacked. Acknowledging pain without letting it define who you are.
Experiencing joy without desperately trying to cling on to it forever.
Exactly. And the people who manage this, they're not superhuman. They haven't eliminated feeling.
So what have they done differently?
They've simply learned to distinguish really clearly between what's theirs to carry.
And what actually belongs to someone else. Their projections, their issues.
Right. They've learned to respond instead of just reacting on autopilot.
To choose instead of just defaulting to old patterns.
Yes. And ultimately to create their experience rather than just sort of surviving it.
And this leads us to what the source calls a beautiful paradox, doesn't it?
It really does. This is fascinating.
It turns things on their head. It suggests that the less you actually need from others.
Need their validation, their approval.
Yes. The less you need that, the more they actually tend to respect.
And the less you actively seek out approval.
The more genuine, authentic approval you tend to receive anyway.
It just flows naturally.
And maybe the biggest one. The less you try to control outcomes, control everything.
The more influence you actually end up having.
It sounds counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But what's the reasoning behind it?
Well, the source explains it pretty clearly. When you stop operating from a place of desperation.
Desperation for validation.
Yes. When you stop making decisions based on fear of rejection, fear of disapproval.
You free up all this energy.
Exactly. You free yourself up to focus on what genuinely matters to you.
And to just be yourself fully with the people who actually resonate with that real you.
But, making this shift isn't always easy. It requires facing some uncomfortable truth.
Like what?
Like acknowledging the ways maybe We've betrayed ourselves in the past.
Betrayed ourselves how?
For the sake of keeping the peace, maybe, or avoiding confrontation.
And recognizing the patterns, the stories, the excuses we've used.
That have kept us playing small, kept us stuck.
And the source points out a hard reality here.
Which is
that most people would rather stay comfortable in their dysfunction than face the discomfort of change.
Ouch. That's blunt, but often true, isn't it? Change is hard.
It is. But here's the really empowering message we want you, the listener, to hear loud and clear.
Okay.
The source says effectively, but you're not most people.
How does it know?
Well, the implication is, if you were, you probably wouldn't still be here listening, feeling that little stir inside.
That feeling that says there has to be another way.
Exactly, that inner knowing. So the core message you might feel you've been waiting for, that permission, that validation.
It's not coming from outside.
No. It's already within you. It always has been. You genuinely have everything you need right now to step into your power.
Everything you need is already there.
So the real question isn't, am I capable of this?
What is the question then?
The question is, am I ready to stop waiting for someone else to give me permission to just be myself?
That really brings it home. It's a choice.
It's absolutely a choice.
Related to this, the source talks about a kind of test that happens.
A test when you start living more authentically.
Exactly. When you start showing up differently, people who relied on your old predictable responses, well, they suddenly don't know how to categorize you anymore.
Right. You've changed the script they were used to.
Precisely. And their reactions will vary. Some will genuinely respect the change, maybe even be inspired by it.
But others
will resist it. They might push back, try to pull you back into the old dynamic.
Why would they do that?
Well, the source offers a really profound insight here. It suggests that resistance often isn't really about you.
It's about them.
It's often about them confronting their own lack of courage to live truthfully. Your freedom becomes uncomfortable for them.
It's a mirror.
Exactly. Yeah. A mirror reflecting their own imprisonment, as the source puts it.
Wow. That requires a lot of self-awareness to see it that way, rather than taking it personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why the next point is so crucial.
Which is the need for unwavering self-trust during this process.
Unwavering self-trust.
Because that old familiar comfort of seeking external validation, it's tempting. It'll whisper sweet lies about safety and belonging.
Promising acceptance if you just go back to how things were.
Right. But true security, the deep kind, according to the source.
Where does that come from?
It comes from knowing who you are and refusing to compromise that knowledge for temporary acceptance.
Knowing who you are and holding on to that, even when it's uncomfortable.
Especially when it's uncomfortable.
And building on that, something interesting starts to happen as you embrace this authenticity. The source calls it a natural sorting process.
A sorting process in terms of relationships.
Yes. The people who are genuinely meant to be in your life, the ones who can handle the real you, they'll adapt.
They'll respect your authenticity, your boundaries.
Exactly. And the ones who can't, the ones who needed you to be someone else.
They might drift.
They might. And the source suggests they were never truly for you anyway, at least not for the authentic you.
That can be painful, but also freeing in a way.
It clears space. And this shift doesn't just mean losing connection. It also attracts new ones.
New people.
Yeah, people who are drawn to depth, not just surface charm. People who value substance over, social theater.
You start building connections based on truth, not performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which are ultimately much more fulfilling.
The source highlights that maybe the most profound change isn't even about other people.
Really? What is it about?
It's about your relationship with yourself.
The internal landscape.
Right. When you stop spending all that energy constantly monitoring how others are reacting to you.
You free up that energy for yourself.
Yes. You gain this incredible resource to invest in your own growth, your own self-discovery.
So you actually start figuring out who you are underneath the performance.
You become genuinely curious about your real preferences, your actual dreams, your core values, not the ones you adopted to fit in.
And you start making choices based on that inner guidance.
Guided by that internal compass, yeah. Not just by external pressure or expectation.
And this internal shift, it must create ripples outwards.
Absolutely. The source describes a clear ripple effect.
How does it manifest?
Well, your work might start to feel more meaningful because you're aligning it more with who you are. Your decisions become clearer, less agonizing, perhaps.
And your baseline level of peace.
It becomes more stable, less dependent on external circumstances. And there's another powerful transformation.
What's that?
The fear of disappointing others, which drives so much people.
Yeah. What happens to it?
It gradually transforms into something much more potent. The fear of disappointing your...
So the focus shifts inward to maintaining your own integrity.
Exactly. That becomes the primary driver. And again, authenticity doesn't mean being rigid or unkind.
Right. It's not an excuse to be a jerk.
Not at all. In fact, genuine kindness, real generosity, true collaboration, they start to emerge naturally from who you actually are.
Instead of being strategies used desperately to be liked.
Precisely. It's coming from a place of fullness, not neediness. Which brings us back to that ultimate paradox we talked about earlier.
The counterintuitive one.
Yeah. The less you need other people's approval,
the more genuinely likable you actually become.
Exactly. Because authenticity, realness, it's rare.
It's refreshing.
It's magnetic. People are drawn to it. And this whole journey, it's crucial to remember, it's not about achieving perfection.
No striving for some flawless ideal self.
Not at all. It's about being real, being present.
Showing up as you are, flaws and all.
Yes. Being willing to show up as yourself regardless of how others might respond.
And fundamentally, it's about trust, isn't it?
It's about trusting that your authentic self is worthy of love, respect, and belonging, just as you are.
Without needing to change or perform to earn it.
Exactly. Worthy inherently. So as we wrap up Dive, here's a final thought for you to perhaps mull over.
Okay.
It builds on the core message from the source. That message you feel like you've been waiting for, that sign, that permission slip.
Yeah?
It's not complex or mystical. It's actually incredibly simple.
What is it?
You already have everything you need right now to live authentically.
Everything. The permission, the strength, the wisdom.
It's all already within you. You don't need to wait for, better circumstances or more confidence or someone else is okay.
You're ready now.
You're ready now. You've always been ready.
That's a powerful note to end on. Maybe, just maybe, you could consider one small step this week.
Just one thing.
Yeah, one small action, one tiny choice to live a little more from that internal compass we talked about.
Not from external pressure, but from your own truth.
What would that actually look like for you? This something to think about.